It's David.
Hey, how's it going? This is Renee. Nice to meet you.
Renee, thanks for calling, man. You good?
Oh, hell yeah. How's your push-ups?
You know what's funny is I actually can't do a push-up. I had my I had my shoulder replaced.
Yeah.
Like they basically do like a hip replacement, but it's for your shoulder. So I
Okay.
I can't do a push-up. I was lying.
Yeah. Was it at least, titanium?
Yeah, titanium, and I got a cool scar. So
Yeah. Well, at least there's that. Very cool. So for anybody's gonna be listening to, thank you. I'm talking to David Bason. You're the vocalist for the band Barfbag. That's a very unique name, and it stands out quite a bit. And people are gonna be like, "What the heck, Barfbag?" Was this a name that y'all just kind of kicked around, and you're like, "Yeah, shit, let's do that one"?
Yeah. The funny thing is, okay, I'll admit it's a goofy name, but I was just surprised that it wasn't taken.
Oh yeah.
You know how every band name you think of is taken?
Right.
Barfbag was available, and it sort of evokes the idea of a vocalist spewing out lyrics, and the songs are really fast, and it's I guess it's kind of punk rock, so we went with it.
Yeah.
But then we turned out like a pretty heavily political record after that, and now you get like a serious record with a band with a kind of a goofy name.
Yeah.
But whatever, we'll deal with it. There have been plenty of bands with not amazing names.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I remember. I don't know if this band's still around, but they're like, and I don't know if I got it right, but they butter their bread with butter or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I got it wrong, but it's something to that effect. So
something equally as bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, something exciting for y'all. You finally released your new album, Let's Stop a War, on election day. So did y'all decide that on purpose to hit it on that day for release?
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was, we did it kind of in the sort of, I guess, the new way of releasing records is just a whole bunch of singles and then a record at the end. And so I was planning out the year, and I thought, oh, well, let's do one for the Republican convention and the Democratic convention, and then we'll do one about pollution on Earth Day, and then we'll put the whole thing out on election day. So yeah, it was thought out, and it was planned around national events.
Yeah, and the title is kind of fitting though too.
Yeah, the title is. I don't know if you're an Exploited fan.
Yes.
But they have that record, Let's Start a War,
right.
And this is like Let's Stop a War. But yeah, it's meant to say what you think it's meant to say.
Yes.
We live in a very divisive time, and a lot of people are really wound up, but.
Yeah. This has separated so many people, like family and friends, of what's been going on. It's crazy to think of how much impact this is having on your day-to-day basis.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing is we all sort of live in these bubbles. I live in Los Angeles. I don't know any Trump supporters, but if we go and visit my wife's family an hour north from here, it's Trump country.
Yeah.
I watch the news that I watch, which gives me a certain narrative. I'm not exposed to the conspiracy theories and the science denying and the flat earth and all the, that just doesn't factor into what I consume. I try to take it from a bunch of places, but if you wonder how we're all divided, it's like you have people tuning into the news that they want to hear.
Right.
And surrounding themselves with people who are, like-minded, and then people who have differing opinions seem evil or alien.
Yeah.
Fox News was started in 1976. They've had 40 years to perfect their propaganda channel.
Yeah.
And what was interesting about all this is, like, in 2016, people who are of the mind that I am, we're all taken by surprise. Like, wait a sec, how did that happen? And that's when you realize, like, oh, of course I didn't get the pedophile emails or Facebook ads or all the the Pizzagate stuff, and like, of course I didn't get that because I'm not the audience.
Yeah.
But that stuff is served up to the people who are likely to believe it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're not only separated by beliefs, but also, like, the information we're given. It's like information warfare.
Yeah, for sure. Did you see that show, The Social Dilemma?
I did. Yeah.
That's describing exactly what you're saying. I mean, and when I was watching it, I was like so pissed off, and I'm like, delete everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, and yeah, we're spoon fed what they want you to believe, and it's hard to weed out all the bad stuff and figure out what's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange time.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of why, even though, our record is a scathing opinion of the soon-to-be done administration, but we sort of countered it with the title, let's stop a war.
Yeah.
So, we're critics, and we're extremely vocal, and we won't apologize for our stance. But at the same time, it would be nice if we could find some sort of common ground to get along about,
Yeah, for sure.
I think people are tired of this shit too, right? Like 4 years later, like, this fatigue.
Yeah. But on the flip side, it also just shows you how messed up everything is, to where a reality show person can become president, whether if you like him or
Mm-hmm.
not. But people voted for him instead of somebody that was an actual politician. I mean, that's just mind-boggling.
That's interesting, because, like, I grew up in Canada, so I didn't grow up here. But there were a few culture shocks when I moved here. Like, people have guns here. That's like lunacy to me. But also, you cannot underestimate the power of celebrity in this country. It legitimizes people. Like, people they legitimize, like, you're talking about Trump, right? So people give him legitimacy as a politician because he happened to have been on television.
Yeah.
It doesn't make him an expert.
No.
By any means,
No, that's insane.
But and because he would like to, think that he's a good business person, although the track record speaks differently. If that's what he projects via television, it actually sticks in the real world, because if polls are clearly wrong a lot given the last two elections, but people, if you poll his supporters, they say that a big part of why they like him is his prowess as a business person, which, I mean, is horseshit.
Right.
But it's what is portrayed via the media, so it sticks.
Yeah.
And there's the power of celebrity.
Yeah.
It's an odd thing.
Yeah. Now, would you say, because you yourself have been in the music industry for quite a while, But
Yeah.
was this something that, this kind of unrest that you had that make you want to start Barfbag and kind of put these songs out?
Well, um, yes. Now was most certainly the time, but I mean, the majority of the record was written last year. But basically, it's myself and Brian Viglione, who also plays in the Dresden Dolls, and Kenny Clarkeet, who was in AWOL Nation, and we have all worked together as part of my day job.
Yeah.
So we're all just kind of pals, and I had gone into Kenny's studio to try to record some. It was kind of, this whole thing started like kind of like sludgy Stooges rock, and then I realized very quickly that that wasn't working. So we were kicking around the studio, and I was like, well, why don't we do like what we all like 80s skate punk, let's do Suicidal meets Exploited, and we'll call Brian over, and it all came together very quickly and happened. We tracked it all very quickly, but so it was a failed attempt at trying to be Iggy Pop, which is like so much harder than you might think.
Right, of course.
So, yeah, that's how it came about. Just working. Sorry, someone just walked in. We were. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You were talking about how the music came together and how you ended up being with a mix of Suicidal and Exploited.
Yeah. It wasn't designed to carry the lyrical content, but it just seemed to be a good fit once the Stooges-y thing didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was listening to it, some of the things that it reminded me of. I mean, I'm 45, so I grew up with the 80s punk and all that, hardcore and all that. So it reminded me of like Dead Kennedys, Bedtime for Democracy, a little bit of flavor of like some Minor Threat, the Out of Step, some Suicidal, Join the Army, and like you said, they Exploited. It's kind of has that type of vibe for me when I was listening to it, and that's pretty rare to be able to capture. Somehow, even the energy comes out during the recording, which is very hard for musicians to do in general.
Well, these guys. I mean, quite frankly, I'm punching above my weight being in the studio with these guys. Like Brian, he's played in the Dresden Dolls and Violent Femmes, and he played in Nine Inch Nails for a minute. Like, I mean, he's like a killer,
Yeah.
And Kenny was in AWOL Nation for, like a decade or something. So these are like world-class musicians, and we just all happen to have the same record collection growing up. So when I say to them like, oh, for this one, let's do this, it's like, oh, you mean like play it like this? And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I heard in my head.
Yeah. That's going to be nice and made your part easy then.
Yeah, very much so.
Now, one thing that you did mention was your lyrics. Of course, are very social and political. Very outspoken. Has there been any unfortunate backlash because of maybe the stances you've been taking from either family or friends?
No. I don't know if there are a couple trolls online, but I don't really pay any attention to that. But no, I mean, I also, like I was mentioning before, I'm in the creative industry. Most people in my world have a same worldview.
Yeah.
So it's not like I don't have that, like, and in terms of family, everyone in my family is, of the same opinion. I don't have that, like, Trump uncle or any of that stuff. It's just not what I come from. So, no, I haven't had anything other than support, from my circle, which I find, I feel very fortunate, for.
Yeah, for sure. Now,
someone will always want to debate you online, but who cares?
Right. They're just online.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like the stance that the band is taking. They're bringing these issues to light. Yes, there are some other genres and other bands that have done it, but do you feel that more bands should be doing this? And it's like almost, why not? Why aren't you doing this?
Yeah, that was a big impetus for starting this. There just seems to be, well, it has changed now, with more and more artists being less afraid to have an opinion. But when we started this, it was like, where are all the protest records? Like, there should be a protest record every week. I don't understand why there isn't one. So I guess we better make one.
Yeah.
And we've been like I said before, we've been rolling this thing out for a year, and over the course of the year, you've seen all these great protest records come out, but I definitely, second your opinion. There should be more.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, there was a protest record every week.
Yeah, it seemed like the majority of punk albums were like that, man. I mean, it's just everything that come out. It's like, F this system, the government, they're not taking care of us. Look at all this poverty. I mean, where's the help? I mean, it was just like all the time, and it made us young, or when we were young, aware of these topics and more consciously, try to do or be better people and try to help other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, if a lot of this stuff, a lot of the lyrical content on the record, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about pollution. We're talking about human trafficking. We're talking about propaganda, systematic oppression, predatory lending practices, like all the stuff that's like, this is all in the news every day. So it's not like you're going to hear this record and say like, oh wow, these guys are telling me something that, like that I'm not aware of. We might have a new slant on it, but like, it's not like, it's meant to be revolutionary, but it's not crazy that we're talking about these things by any means.
Yeah. But it's a shame that not enough people are talking about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you would think there would be one every day.
Yeah.
If given the assumption, right, that like an artist's job is to look at their surrounding and spit out an opinion on it.
Yeah.
You would think that, what do they say? Like, there's like 40,000 songs uploaded to Spotify every day or whatever. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, there's more than enough music out there.
Yeah.
Why is there a lack of politically driven music? It's strange to me. But then also, like, there's an entire generation of people who felt empowered by dropping out.
Yeah.
There was, and that's why you get all these like kind of like slack, trap songs where it's just like, okay, I'm going to take a whole bunch of Xanax and just zone out because both parties suck. I don't want to get involved. I was born into this shitty situation. I'm not going to be better off than my parents. So then you get this like escapism music, but that's kind of also how we end up with someone in the White House who doesn't have everyone's best interest at heart.
Yeah, that contributed to the situation we're in now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess they're not seeing that aspect to where if they take a stance or say something that they really feel strongly about, it's gonna influence other people's to think. It's gonna influence other people's to make changes, which is, I mean, not necessarily that musicians have that responsibility, but musicians and artists have one of the biggest voice to be able to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. One thing that I that you kind of mentioned in one of your songs that it's not as fast and crazy as all the other songs, but she doesn't want to be here. Of course, I mean, it's about human trafficking. Are you part of any charitable organizations having to deal with that, or is just something that you may have witnessed or researched on?
No, I'm not part of a charitable organization for that. The charitable organization I'm involved with is actually called the Loud Program, and we make musical equipment and instruction available for underprivileged students, mostly in the Southern California area, but all the way up to Vancouver, and even we have a chapter in Sweden. But we put basic rock band instrumentation. We make it available as an after-school program. The instruction is completely free of cost to the student and to the school. And it's an after-school program that gets run 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, that's amazing.
And 90% of the kids who are involved qualify for a free lunch at school, and would not normally have wouldn't normally have the means for music instruction or musical equipment, and they're encouraged to take the instruments home and beat them up and drag them through the mud and learn how to play them. And at the end of every school year, they get together, usually at the Echo over in Echo Park, and they put on a show. So you have all these students who, at the start of the school year, have never picked up an instrument, and then by the end of the year, they're playing a show to a packed room at a venue, and it's extremely moving.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
But with regards to the human trafficking song, no, it was it's just more of an opinion piece. I'm not actively involved in any organizations with that, but it was meant to be I don't know. Do you know that Tom Waits song, "What's He Building"?
No, I don't think so.
It's an older song, but like the song is like, "What's he building in there?" And it's like basically like some guy's tinkering away in his house, and the neighbors want to know what's going on. But it's sort of meant to be like that song, but about about this issue, which a lot of people find themselves in, where they get sold a lie and end up in a situation that they can't escape due to financial constraints.
Yeah, it's actually a big issue. I myself have done some research on it because I also teach at a local college, and this is something that we're bringing to our students for first responders. And it's called the Blue Campaign. It's from Homeland Security. It's such a big issue that it's crazy that how it's not more in the news, and it's not out there as much as, say, war on drugs or whatever. But this is something that's really big, and there's some more emphasis to get that out there. It's called the Blue Campaign.
Great.
Yeah. So and just to throw it out. Yeah, just to throw it out there in case if you ever run into anybody, and I tell people wherever I talk to you, or just the number is 888-3737 888. So it's pretty easy to remember. Or texting "be free." So just if anybody's listening, this may catch somebody that may be in that situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll throw it up on our socials too. I just took it down. Yeah, I mean, play the song for your class. See if it resonates. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. Now, another thing I wanted to ask about, because of pandemic, a lot of bands are not able to do a lot other than maybe produce music, for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, because you are, on the other side of the music scene as well. How do you think, the music industry is going to be able to endure, or the bands be able to endure this?
Well, bands are surviving now off of performance royalties, live streaming income, merch sales. Can they survive? No, not indefinitely.
Yeah.
It's a live driven industry. And it sucks that even the venues that we are going to go into once it comes back, a lot of them are struggling to even, make it through. So the venues are hurting, not just the bands. The venues are like, a lot of them won't be there anymore,
Right. I've seen a lot of them already starting to close down.
Yeah. But thanks to, Nevis and Save Our Stages and, the Grammy Foundation, efforts are being made, but it's strange to me that there's no real bailout plan for live music.
Yeah. Well, because it's not part of the group, the secret group.
Well, it should be.
Yeah. If you remember George Carlin, it's just us, and we're not part of that group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
One thing you did mention was live streaming, and I had actually you had done an email interview for me. I think it was back in September, or it's been a while. Are y'all still planning for the live stream at the Mohawk?
We've been waiting on the Mohawk. Our buddy Austin down there. Yeah, we're in a holding pattern.
Oh yeah.
We did one for our friend Jesse Mallon. He has a wonderful weekly show called The Fine Art of Self-Distancing, and he had us on. We did one for that. But yeah, we're sitting here waiting on the Mohawk, ready to go.
Yeah. Man,
they're good people down there.
Yeah, I think everybody's just waiting and itching at just for live shows to start happening. And I think one of the I guess an positive outcome that'll happen is that once live shows start to happen, it's just those places are just going to be packed.
People are going to go bonkers, man.
Yeah. You thought it was crazy before. Just wait.
Yeah. I just, I hope that we don't just go into some, total hedonistic, well, we got rid of the monster, we did our bit, now we can just go crazy and not still be involved in the things that do matter.
Right.
So, once the administration changes, there's still a lot of work to be done.
Oh yeah, the race isn't over.
Mm-mm. No.
And
the other thing is, like, it's not like the Democrats are the optimal solution. We have to hold them accountable.
Right.
It's not like because they show up every 4 years and give our friends in the Black community lip service, and then once they get the vote, they kind of disappear. That's got to end.
Yeah, they have to be. You're right. They have to be held accountable. Everybody has to be held accountable. All politicians have to be held accountable, and it's up to us to keep that up.
It's just going to be really hard after 4 years of absolute chaos. It's going to be really hard to keep anyone wanting to think about politics after this shit show is over. You know, once the circus leaves town,
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to keep people active.
Yeah. They're almost going to mentally check out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll just keep putting out protest records. We'll just do it about other things.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're gonna have to depend on you because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah. Well, we'll be here. We got nothing else to do.
Very good. So, you know, kind of getting close to the end of our interview, besides picking up the new album, what would you like to stress the fans to be doing right now?
What would I stress the fans to be doing?
Yeah. Besides supporting, of course, live venues, music, ordering, you know, if they haven't picked up Let's Stop a War yet, anything else you would like to express?
Yeah, pick a cause that means something to you. Like I had said, like for me, it's making sure that kids in school have access to some music. For you, it's you know, with your organization, a blue campaign, picking something that means something to you and donate a few hours.
Yeah, it doesn't, you know, in the overall scope of a person's life, it doesn't take that much from you, and you actually gain a lot more for doing something for somebody else.
Yes, yes, and if it's something that personally means something to you, you're more apt to do it. You know,
Yeah.
like I love music, so for me, it was really easy to just pick something music related because I know I'll actually get to it.
Yeah. And that's amazing that y'all are doing that because I remember as a kid, you know, my parents weren't, you know, rich or anything like that, but I was lucky enough to they were able to buy me a snare and I was able to get into the band and stuff. But had I not had that, I would have felt, well, I know I would have missed a lot in the sense of, you know, music appreciation and knowing that I can do something musically, you know, to be creative. That would have been, man, that would have been a big chunk out of me missing. So you doing this for other kids is amazing.
Yep, and that's just loudprogram.com. And yours is a blue campaign, 888-3737-888.
Yep, easy. Or text Be Free. Because some people are afraid, you know, you run into them in this situation and they're like, you know, they're lost and don't know what to do. But, you know, some of those things, if they can remember those little things, they may use that information down the line. Yeah. Well, David, I thank you for your time and insight. I really appreciate it. And for the album.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the platform. Thank you very much.
Thanks. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.